Greetings, gentlemen. I just wanted to add my thoughts to Redshifts concept of creating MGTOW communes. And I just wanted to sort of take you guys through what's happening in my own country and in my own state and in my own city. So in my country, as many of you know, I am South African, and what we're seeing in my country is that we have a high crime rate, and what this high crime rate has resulted in is that a lot of the, I would say, middle class and upper middle class have started, I'd say maybe the construction companies or the, I'd say maybe city planning sort of legislation. What they've done is that they've created estates. Now, in these estates, you see a lot of high walls, high level of security. You see electric fences, and these estates are sort of like their own communes. In some of the more wealthier estates, what we're seeing is that there's even schools that are built within those estates. You see shopping centers being built within those estates. So like it's basically forming its own community, which basically can become sort of like a commune. Now, within these little communities, what I'm seeing perhaps probably as we move forward is that, say, MGTOW men or awakened men, depending on what we see, say they consolidate their wealth and their expertise in those estates, it could probably work. Trade within those estates would be kept, would not necessarily kept, but it would circle within those estates. So you'd see, as I said, the shopping centers being built in there, schools being built in there. Its own thriving community, basically shut out from, the external forces. From cities, from just generally being decentralized, moving towards becoming a denizen. Now, the problem is, these estates are still on the land of the country. So they're still subject to the laws of the land, which is where, should these estates form, they would need to be protected. How will they be protected? I'm thinking about probably private security, private contracts, those type of things to protect these estates, these communes from the force of government intervention. Will men be willing to form such communes? With enough, I suppose, reason to do so. I think men, and I call them citizens of those communes, they will, rise up and protect themselves from, government intervention. It will take time. It will take, I suppose, a lot of convincing. But one thing I've picked up a lot from, Sandman, and just obviously just general analysis of male and female interactions, is that women tend to follow men. And since women tend to follow men, I think men need to build it. Men need to build such communes. And when things are built, the rest follows. I forgot what the quote said, is that if you build the school, the students will come. Something along those lines. I actually do think that this is very possible. Of course, this is just me, thinking out loud. You can see that my thoughts are scattered, and it's not so, directed. But I can definitely, the core of what I'm trying to say is that I can definitely see these communes forming. Why I say so as well, another example in my own country is that if you look at the Western Cape, so the state or the province that Cape Town is situated in, a couple of years ago, I'm not sure, maybe it was maybe a decade ago, there were talks about there were talks about the Western Cape being its own country, having its own government. And it was very, very realistic, and I could definitely see it happening. So when we're looking at it from a state or provincial size, that it can be decentralized, I'm more than certain that this can move into, smaller areas where you have little pockets of communes forming, and they run themselves. The biggest hurdle would be how to stay out of government intervention, how to remove yourself from government laws such as taxes, how to remove and protect yourself from things like common law marriage, or things like palimony, child support, these things. Trying to work your way around those interventions, because after all, you are on the land of that country and you are subject to that legislation. If you want to cut yourself off of that legislation, it's going to require a fight. It's going to require you to stand up and to step up, which will require private security. And I suppose if you've got the wealth for it, to hire private security to protect yourself against the law enforcement, police, and such things. I suppose those loopholes can be thought about and can be not necessarily mitigated, but can be deflected, and fought against. But as I said, I can definitely see these communes coming to fruition. I can definitely see how trade can be conducted using sound money, silver coins, perhaps Bitcoin, perhaps more of a barter system. It's just going to take some time. But one thing I can definitely see is that, from my observation, I can definitely see these estates rising up. And it's literally a different world when when you step into those estates as compared to when you step out. It's its own community. It literally even has its own type of energy. So yeah, those are my ideas on that. And I can definitely see Redshift's logic and sense of thinking, and it makes clear and perfect sense, and it's something that I could probably even you take up, because if you can see how things are going, there's no reason why you can't sort of take action and protect yourself against government tyranny, and move towards becoming a denizen, slowly but surely. I think it's one of those things where you just take it step by step. But yeah, just following that logic, gentlemen, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks. Cheers.